All right, hello everyone. Welcome, welcome. Another Facebook Live meditation. We will get started in just a few moments here once a few more people arrive. All right, people are hopping on. Thank you all for being here. Super exciting. We are here on June 19th, Juneteenth, to do some energy work to support the Black Lives Matter movement and also to do some energy work within. By no means do I consider myself an expert on anti racism or on the Black Lives Matter movement by any means, but I do consider myself an expert with regards to energy work. And I do see that I can help guide as many of you who are willing to participate to support the movement and to support the change that is just inevitable right now on the planet. For me right now, it is just such an exciting time to be here on the planet. There's so many changes and shifts that are happening, and it's so exciting, and I'm super excited to give you guys some more insight about how to work with these changes and how to glide through these changes and make it a lot more effortless, and to help support the Black Lives Matter movement on the planet right now, to make that more effortless and to help that glide along as as where we're progressing to. Because if you will, I do see that the Black Lives Matter movement, and it's not a political thing. This is not a political statement by any means that I'm making here. This is really a human rights issue. This has everything to do with human rights and supporting everyone's human rights and their basic rights to food, water, and to feel comfortable and to feel safe in their own communities. And so, yeah, that's what we're here to do today, is to do some energy work on that. I am seeing a bunch of people saying hello, welcome. Appreciate you guys being here to support the cause. To me, this is just such a generous donation of your time and your energy to support what's happening on the planet, because I just think that, again, this is such an exciting change, and I really want to do as much as we can to make the changes happen as smoothly as possible. All right. If you have any comments at any point, please make some comments. I am more than happy to address them. I did get some emails over the last few days with regards to places that people are wanting to look, and I will do my best to address some of those. Okay. Um, so let's just see before we get started with our meditation if there's any comments here. Hmm. All right. I'm not seeing any comments, so let's go ahead and get started with the meditation. So if you would all go ahead and close your eyes, and go ahead and take a deep breath in. So when you meditate, there is a common belief that you have to get like super serious, and you have to like meditate, and like I'm meditating, and that means that you're like this really good meditator. And I just want to say, no, 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 just chill, relax, just be at ease, be comfortable, sit in a comfortable way, make your body comfortable. You don't need to be tense to meditate. You don't have to like sit straight and be proper. No, no, no. To meditate, all you have to do is have a willingness to just go within. And that just takes really just closing your eyes, bringing your attention inward, and recognizing that accessing your intuition has everything to do with going within. A lot of people think that intuition has everything to do with out there and reading the energy out there and seeing the energy in another person or divining the future over there. Intuition has everything to do with going within. As a matter of fact, the root word is antweri, which means to go within. So just go within, inside of yourself. And as you're breathing, just take a few moments and check in with your body. How's your body doing right now? And wherever your body might be feeling a little bit uncomfortable, or maybe there's even some pain or stress or tension, don't get serious about it. Don't do some healing work on it, or don't go to town on it. I'm just gonna say, just offer that a hello. Say, oh, hello, tense shoulder, or hello, headache. And just say hello to it. Don't try to change it. Don't try to do anything different. Just acknowledge it. Hello. I hear you. That's really all the body's saying. Hey, I'm down here. There's some things going on that needs your attention. Could you first start by giving me a hello? Yeah. And then if you would, I'd like you to ground your body. And here at the Boulder Psychic Institute, that means connecting your hips to the center of the planet with some sort of tube or a visual, like a tree trunk or a waterfall. And really, if you would, do the best you can to imagine a nice solid connection between your hips and the center of the planet, please. And with that connection, that not only connects you to the center of the planet, but what that does is that helps the body to release any negative energy, any energy that would have you feel ucky or uncomfortable or have some emotional stuff that's just lingering in there. And so I'd like y'all to just take a big deep breath, and as you exhale, allow that energy that's not working for your body to fall right out of your body and right down your grounding cord, please. And I'd like you to do the best you can to imagine that energy falling all the way down that grounding cord and all the way down into the center of the planet. And I want you to see if you can really just visualize or imagine the best you can that energy is falling all the way down. We're going to be doing a lot of work with earth energy today. That is the theme. And so I just want to get the ball rolling by having you guys really see if you can just track as energy falls down your grounding cord all the way down to the center of the planet. Yeah. All right. Good. And I'm going to have you guys say hello to the Supreme Being. So however you imagine that energy, wherever that vibration is for you, that omniscient, all-knowing, omnipotent vibration that's neutral and amused, looking out for everyone's best interest. The Supreme Being, and if you would, I'd like you to say hello to the Supreme Being. I'd like you to ask the Supreme Being to send a gold beam of light down from the Supreme Being, connecting into the top of your head, please. And what I'd like you to do is I would like you to ask the Supreme Being to hold space for you while you do some healing work today on yourself and on the rest of the planet. And really that just looks like a gold beam of light connecting into the top of your head, and that gold just kind of casting a golden glow around your body, holding space for you so that your body, you can be in a nice high vibrational level of consciousness and awareness while you're doing your work today. Yes. All right, you guys look really good. Okay. So in case you guys haven't noticed, the Earth is in a really big shift right now. And it's a really important time to update and align with her so that you can stay in present time and be in the now, be in the current present time vibration of what the planet is transmitting to us as information, so that you can really start to have a lot more ease during these changes. Okay. The Earth is going through a shift, which is also propelling us humans to go through a big shift. Okay. And so it kind of starts as the Earth is going through this change, and then for those of us that are fairly tuned in, we're tuned in and we're starting to make changes within our bodies and making a shift. And the more that you can stay consistently updated with the center of the planet, with the vibration of Mother Earth, the more that you're just going to be kind of like you're getting the most up-to-date information, and you're going to be operating off of the most up-to-date information. So we're going to take a little field trip on an astral body or a spiritual level down to the core of the planet. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to go ahead and just take your spiritual awareness as a soul. I'd like you to just imagine you as the bright light Tinkerbell spirit that you are, just traversing down through your body. And I'd like you to just drop right through your grounding cord. Just kind of take that grounding cord like a little elevator down the shaft, down that grounding cord. And I'd like you to just take that, ride that elevator all the way down to the center of the planet, please. And when you arrive, just take a deep breath in and don't do anything, just look around. What do you see? What kind of vibrations, what kind of energies do you experience in the center of the planet? And if you will, right there in the center of the planet, you'll start to see some entities, some beings down there. These are Mother Earth's helpers. These are Earth beings. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to look around, and I'd like you to just kind of observe these Earth beings. And there's going to be one that you're kind of attracted to. Maybe you like the color of that being. Maybe you like the energy. Or there's just something that you like the energy of that Earth being. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to imagine spiritually going over to that Earth being. I want you to go ahead and ask that Earth entity to give you a healing. I'd like you to have that Earth being clear any energy out of your space that's having you be in resistance to the changes that are happening on the planet right now. Any energy that would have you also go unconscious to the changes that are happening right now. Any energy that would have you be grumpy or frumpy about it, that would have you dig your heels in some way. And I'd like you to have this Earth being help you to clear that vibration, because here's the deal. The change is inevitable. It's happening. As a matter of fact, maybe to some degree it's already happened. And you have to kind of let go of wherever you're stuck to how it was or how things used to be, so that you really can step into how things are right now and how they're gonna be. So just breathe and let that healing being, that earth entity, give you this healing. As I'm watching the group collective, especially here in the US, and I'm watching the vibration of the dichotomy, or you could even call it the conflict that is happening right now between those who don't want things to change and those who are already on the bandwagon. And it's not that they want things to change, they're just trying to pull everyone else along. They kind of, you know, they're in on the secret as to what's happening. Right? As I'm watching that vibration, one of the things that I'm really noticing is that that fear about changing, the concern or the stuckness around changing, that's really making it difficult for those people who are afraid of the change. And really, I'm just seeing it as if you want to participate in the world, if you want to be a part of the evolution and you want to be a part of tomorrow, you've just really got to evolve. And a lot of people don't really know how to do that. It's kind of this kind of cognitive, mental, intellectual thing. Oh, yes, I must evolve. I have to change, right? And maybe I'll read a book to change. And sure, reading a book or reading the news or reading an opinion piece and all of that, those are great intellectual ways to evolve the mind, but to really evolve in an integrated, full body way is to first get an update from Mother Earth. And one of the easiest ways to do that is by getting a healing from these earth beings. So just breathe and notice what you're feeling. What kind of healing are they doing? What kind of update are you receiving? Because in clearing all that resistance, you are going to be getting an update. And a big part of that update is that Earth being updating the etheric levels within you, specifically the mental body and the emotional body. So for those of you that understand what I'm talking about with regards to the etheric bodies, see if you can acknowledge what kind of healing you're getting on that mental and emotional level right now. You see, what's kind of happening right now on the planet is that the Earth's etheric levels, okay, so the Earth also has etheric levels, and the Earth's etheric levels are a little bit congested right now, okay? And that has to do with all of us humans here on Earth who are not processing our thoughts and emotions cleanly. And for those of you guys who are students at BPI, the Boulder Psychic Institute, you'll know that a great way to process unnecessary or old or past time thoughts and emotions is to release them down your grounding cord and let Mother Earth and her little helpers, these earth beings, recycle the energy and transmute the energy as usable free energy here on the planet. But as most of you guys know, there aren't too many people who are grounding. There's more people than not who are not grounding. And what happens with their thoughts and their emotions is they start to crowd or clutter the etheric body on the planet. And the planet's etheric body actually plays a huge role in our climate, in our weather. As a matter of fact, I've even observed here in Boulder when we have like heavy duty winds, like crazy winds, that's oftentimes because the thought patterns of those of us in Boulder are getting super strong and they're just like going crazy. and it'll start to kick up the wind. Okay? This is one of the reasons why the settlers, as they were traveling west, whenever that wind would kick up, they would go crazy. It was a common phenomenon of going crazy. And, is it the chicken or the egg? Either they were going crazy and that kicked up the wind, or there's a lot of that mental vibration going on which kicked up the wind, which affected their thoughts. And I definitely see that it's kind of a both and vibration there. And so in order for you to be able to have the fortitude to be able to support planet Earth in clearing out her etheric body today, I'd like you to get that support in clearing out your etheric bodies, mostly the mental and the emotional body. Excellent. You guys look great. Go ahead and breathe. And would you have this earth being wrap up this healing on you? Excellent. Good. All right, and once this earth being is done with this healing, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to just find a comfortable place for you to hang out in the center of the planet. And we're going to use our group collective here for all of us who are in this meditation right now. The power of all of us doing this together, it magnifies the vibration. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to imagine all of us kind of hanging out down there in a big circle down in the center of the planet. So there we all are as spiritual beings sitting in a circle in the middle of the planet there, using our conscious awareness to help support the planet and all the people on it. Excellent. And then what I'd like you to do is, as a soul, I'd like you to imagine just focusing your energy into the middle of the circle. And we're going to kind of create like a power pod in the middle of the circle. And we're going to take our high vibrational intention and we're going to make like a big ball of power energy right in the middle of this circle. And just imagine, if you would, visualize that ball of energy growing brighter and bigger and shinier, more and more powerful. Excellent. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite these earth beings to step into the middle of this sphere of energy so that they can use this power energy that we've created to kind of charge themselves up as entities. All right, so if you would just, here we go, invite those earth beings right in. You might notice the one that you got a healing from jumping in there. And this is going to charge them up. Charge them up with our human physicalness, physical vibration that we can offer to these earth beings so that they can use that physical energy to create some changes up there on the earth's surface. Excellent. And then if you would, all right, here we go. We're going to send those healing beings on up. And let's send them out to the earth's surface. And we're going to continue to send that power energy into the middle of the circle where those earth beings can pull off of that power to be able to heal the planet. And first, what I'd like you to do is we're going to, with our intention, have these earth beings work the energy of Earth's etheric body. of Earth's etheric plane, just clearing out all the old consciousness, all the old emotional levels that are stuck in there that have not only been affecting the weather, affecting the climate, but absolutely affecting the inhabitants on the planet, most importantly, us humans. So if you would just continue to do your work, which is powering, it's like a power grid, a power ball, so that these earth beings can give Mama Earth's etheric field a healing. I'd like you to do the best you can to observe the healing that they're doing on Mama Earth. Yes. Good. And just breathe. And you might notice like an earth being or your earth being that you worked with, working on a certain part of the planet, maybe working on a certain landmass or a certain country, or the oceans or the forests or the desert or even the atmosphere. Yes, and your job is to not only just observe the changes that are happening on the planet, but if you would, keep fueling this power ball. I'm just going to keep giving it energy, giving it our light, giving it our attention. You can almost see that ball of light like glowing out the volcanoes and just feeling the light that we're creating out the volcanoes. And creating even more light as it's shining through the cracks up on the Earth's surface. Nice job, everyone. Yes. Good. So doing great. Breathe. Lovely. All right, we're going to have those earth beings wrap that up. All right. And now let's have those earth beings work on any of the human beings here on the earth who are interested in receiving a healing, receiving an update to the planetary changes, the new vibration on the planet. See, there is no new normal anymore. It's all just new. It's all just new. And for those of you who have been doing energy work for a while, this is just old stuff for you. Like new is just like, that's just the way it is. But for a lot of the people here on the planet, this is super uncomfortable. New. I can't make plans. I can't look into the future. I mean, the future is definitely not as stable as it used to be. And so for those who are kind of stuck in the older ways, even just 20 years ago, right? Things have definitely been progressing and changing a lot over the last 15, 20 years. So it's all just new. It really isn't a new normal anymore. And so if you would, see if you can observe those earth beings working on the protesters, the Black Lives Movement protesters. I really see them as working towards more human rights. You know, if we're really going to grow as a planet, we have to embrace everyone because we can only grow as far as our weakest link, right? And that's what some people don't recognize is they're so caught up in greed or in making more money or in having more power, more, Some of you guys have heard me call them younger souls, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, right? But for those of us older souls, we have to create the space, we have to create the compassion to guide them or help support them in their own way to start to recognize, oh, having all this money, having all this fame, having all this power, I can only actually acquire so much if, especially if I'm not creating a space for other people to kind of step up to. Okay? So we can only move as far as the weakest link. And this is, if you will, one of the ways in which these earth beings are helping to heal and update the information in the human bodies here on the planet. You might be observing those earth beings working on politicians, giving them the strength and the fortitude to create those policies, to act on the behalf of human rights, especially Black lives, especially the LGBTQ community. We've had some really great wins this week, super exciting. But really giving all of them the strength and the fortitude to act in accordance with present time, with the present time vibration on planet Earth. And of course, you'll also be observing those earth beings working on all of the people who are having a difficult time with the shifts. Maybe some of the police officers who are worried about losing their jobs or the changes that might be happening in their career. Or some of the white people who are maybe still stuck in some of the older ways. Let's create some space. Let's give this power to create some space for them to open up, to change their view. See what's stuck. When somebody's stuck, okay, it means there's no room, there's no space, there's no room to grow. Okay? When you're stuck, you're kind of, shoved up in a tiny little space, and there's no change that can happen in this tiny space. Okay? So instead of judging those people, instead of pointing your finger at those people, instead of blaming them, right? And it's very tempting, trust me. But recognize when you take that energy of blaming them and judging them, you're making them even more stuck. You're making that space that they're stuck in even smaller, smaller, which has them become even more focused. It has them fuel those beliefs even further. Okay? So let's just give them some space. Give them some room to breathe. Give them some room to look around and open up their consciousness. And absolutely 1000%, if you're observing those earth beings healing the Black community out there, also releasing them from their past trauma, from the wounds of the past, and helping them to release that so they can also step even more fully, even more than they already have, into the new vibration on planet Earth, the newness. Yeah, good. Really letting go of all the past, letting go of the old consciousness, letting go of those old cultural agreements. You guys have heard me call it, for those of you who are students, the cultural rules of engagement. Letting those go, and we're not ripping them away. Watch it how those earth beings just give them space. Give them all that nurturing energy. Hey, let me nurture you, let me support you so that you can step into this new place. Yeah, see, there you go. And let's not forget that there is still a virus going on. We've got COVID. And that is a big body update that's changing the bodies here on the planet. Whether the bodies have received it or not, there's a change there, a change in genetic information. So let's hold space, let's power, let's fuel those earth beings to be able to work on the bodies up here on planet Earth to support the genetic changes that are happening and that have happened already because of COVID-19. Breathe, observe the healings, keep sending your intention, your power into that middle of that circle, really feeling the healing work of those earth beings. And see if you can just see how this ball of light has gotten so big. Power energy has just grown out from the core to the surface of the planet, all the way to the edge of the atmosphere. Yeah, keep charging that. Let's make that ball of energy bigger and bigger so it permeates even just a little outside of the Earth's atmosphere. And notice how that supercharged energy gives those earth beings even more power to do their work. All right, good. We're going to have those earth beings wrap up this healing. And just if you would, imagine them just coming right back down to the core of the earth. Dipping into Mama Earth's grace, nurturing vibration. All right, and then if you would, I'd like you to imagine just stepping right into the center of that ball of energy. And just take a moment and bask in that power vibration that we just created as a group. It's pretty glorious in there. Yes. All right, would you bring that power energy with you? That updated earth vibration, that grace, that beauty. And would you find your grounding cord and just take that elevator right back up your grounding cord, right back into your physical body, please. And once you've landed in your body, let that glow, that power, that update really take effect in all the cells of your body, in all the systems in your body, and in all of your etheric bodies. Just let that update happen. Yes, good. Take a deep breath in. Who would you thank the Supreme Being for holding space for you? And go ahead and ask the Supreme Being to disconnect from the top of your head. Of that gold beam of light, go back up to the Supreme Being. Yes. All right. Beautiful work, everyone. Go ahead and wiggle and stretch. Move your body around. Open your eyes. That was pretty awesome. Psychic high five there. Good job. All right. Beautiful. Yep, just keep moving that body around. Just let that power, that update be in the body. Some of you guys, your eyes, your vision might be a little bit clearer. Those of you that have been just kind of extra tired the past few weeks, having a difficult time seeing the past few weeks, that should resolve itself by doing these updates, and you guys will know how to. You guys now know how to do this on your own, and we'll have this video up on Facebook if you want to watch it again, so that you can continue to get those updates. But like right now, for those of you, as I'm looking around at all of you guys psychically, just kind of notice the optical nerves, notice your eyes, your vision, and the shift in your vision there. Yeah. All right, so I am going to open up the space for questions for a nice Q&A here. Thank you guys for your comments. Yes, I needed that too, Allison. Thank you. That was a nice meditation. That was pretty darn awesome. So while I'm waiting for questions to come in, please know I'm not going to answer any personal questions. This isn't like a personal psychic reading space. This is questions about the planet, questions about what's going on, questions about kind of how to work with the energy of things that are happening here on the planet. While I'm waiting for the questions to come in, a few announcements. We are going to be teaching some class series that we have entitled The Psychics Against the Machine. And we have one class coming up on Friday the 26th. It's going to be at noon Mountain Time. And it's really about working the energy so that you can start to have uncomfortable conversations, definitely about race, systemic racism, but also just opening up that vibration within yourself so that you can have uncomfortable conversations in general, whether it's uncomfortable conversations with yourself, within yourself, as you guys have all heard me say like a bazillion times. To make the changes out there, you got to make the changes in here. But then also to be able to have uncomfortable conversations and receive uncomfortable feedback from other people out there. On July 10th, we're going to be offering a 4-class series that is the same thing about the Psychics Against the Machine, but we're going to delve deeper, not just into having uncomfortable conversations, but doing energy work and shining light on wherever you might be unconscious to your own racism and your own blind spots around that. And just creating a comfortable, a safe environment. It's not going to be comfortable. Creating a safe environment so that you can start to take a look at these things and take a look at it energetically. Again, we at BPI, we do not consider ourselves experts in anti-racism, but we are experts with energy work, and we can give you the tools and hold the space, create a safe container for you to work the energy so that you can start to look at this and start to examine this for yourself. Okay. And just like how I started the meditation at the beginning of class, oftentimes just to create a change, you just need the awareness. Okay, you just need that awareness. You need to say hello. Oh, look at that blind spot, or oh, look at that racist tendency, or oh, look at that pretty thought that I might have about a certain gender, or about a certain body type, or whatever. Okay, and can you at least have the space to look at that and to be able to say hello to it? So that's what those classes are about. You will find them online, and you can register online too. Our next self-healing class starts on Tuesday, July 7th at 7:30. If you have any friends who would like to learn how to do energy work, please send them our way. The first class of the 4-week course is free to check out. Otherwise, the course is $100. And lastly, we have our free aura and chakra healings on Friday the 26th at 6 p.m. For those of you guys who are students, please come and participate by giving healings. If you know of anybody that could use a healing right now, please send them our way. They just register and they call up at 6 o'clock and we put them in the queue, and then they get a healing according to when they arrived. All right, it looks like we have one question which has to do with how is the virus updating our DNA. And the way that that virus is updating our DNA plays out with also the changes on Mother Earth and how the planet is also changing too. And without kind of getting into like the DNA strands and how that's shifting things, what it is doing is it is making us more resilient and helping to create more space within the physical body to accept the changes that are going to be happening. This probably isn't the first pandemic that we are going to be experiencing over the next decade. And so this is kind of the first preparatory one. It's like our initiation. It's preparing us and getting us stronger and helping our bodies to mutate, if you will, to be able to thrive during these changes. And if you aren't conscious of the updates and your resistance to the pandemic or in resistance to the virus, you're going to be less likely to get that update, so that that body will have a harder time stepping into the future with future events that will be playing out here. All right. It looks like we have somebody in the audience here where they're experiencing people being aggressive towards them and wanting any tips for setting boundaries without using an expletive. All right. So, and this is actually a really great question, and I really appreciate it, because it's not just you know, maybe you who's where other people are getting aggressive at. You know, there's you know the protesters, and you know they're being met by aggression, and you know there's the police who are being met by aggression, and then there's the politicians, and you know there's a lot of aggressive energy out there right now. Okay. And so the first thing is to try to give that aggressive vibration some space. Again, if you squeeze in on it by, you know, telling it to F off, right? You're basically making that vibration, making that aggression even stronger, even more potent, so that then that person can take that ball of energy and even womp you even harder with it, okay? And so what you want to do is you diffuse it by giving it more space. Okay, how do you diffuse stuff? Well, you can visualize that space getting bigger of that person's aggression and giving them more room to have it, to where it just kind of becomes like, you know, nothing. Okay. Amusement is also a really great tool, just finding some amusement in this situation. Amusement is a great way of creating space. Okay? And then lastly, recognizing that it's not personal. Okay, so when people get aggressive to you, maybe you say something that triggers them, right? Notice my verbiage. It's triggering them. Okay, it's triggering them, and they are making you the problem because you're the one who said something that triggered them. Okay, so the last pointer that I have for that is to recognize that it's not personal, that it has nothing to do with you. You might have been the catalyst, but it has everything to do with something that's happening over there. And so start to see that aggression as, wow, you look really triggered right now. You know, congratulations. That's you know, that is an opportunity to grow. Okay. And from there, you start to work the vibration how you respond to those aggressive people are going to be more in alignment with where you're at on an energy level versus you getting triggered and reacting from trigger. And then there we go. There's a snowball effect, and all of that just becomes bigger and bigger. Okay? So those are a few pointers. Give it some space. Okay? Give it room. Amusement is a great thing to do. Okay? And then from there, recognize that it's not personal. They are the ones who are triggered. Okay? And then if they say something mean to you, then you are the one that's triggered, and then you're the one who has to deal with whatever that trigger is that they were the catalyst for. Okay? So it's not personal. It's not personal. Okay. And now recognize that this is an energetic way to work with those. So, I did mention protesters and police. There's a lot of aggression happening there, right? I have been in a few protests in my earlier years, and one that actually did get aggressive, like what we're seeing out there in some of the bigger cities right now. And, at least in this day and age, physically, there's going to be lots of manifestations around how to deal with that in the moment or how to work with that, right? But for those of us who are not necessarily currently at this very moment in a protest, what we can do to support that is to give that room, give that space. Try to add a little grace, amusement, lightness to the situation so that there can be that room to get unstuck and to change. Right? All right. Again, I don't have a lot of physical solutions. I definitely come up with my own physical solutions in the moment according to how my truth is guiding me, and that's going to be up to you. These are some spiritual suggestions. Jackie, those Psychics Against the Machine classes are going to be for a fee. The Friday one-day class is $30, and the 4-week course is going to be $100. And it looks like Christina already responded to that in the messages there. All right, any other questions? I'm looking at one of my notes over here, and the last thing that I would like to just share with you guys is that I've had a few students, say, hey, can we do a healing that has people just not be in judgment anymore, that has people, see spirit and not judge the bodies and not see in color, black and white and brown and all the colors in between and stuff like that. And, bodies judge, right? The bodies are designed to judge, okay? The physical body is meant to have judgment. And when you have judgment and it's super, super neutral, okay, that judgment is absolutely necessary in the body, okay? You need judgment so that you can judge if you can cross the street before a car hits you, okay? The body needs judgment, okay? And that, for some of you guys who know about the chakra system, is a third chakra event. Okay? So when judgment resides in the third chakra, that is when your judgment is neutral, and it's going to be appropriate for making sure that the body can judge things appropriately. Can I get that done in time? Can my body do that? Can my body accomplish that? It's a third chakra event right there. This is the third chakra. Okay, when that judgment spreads out into the other chakras, that is where the judgment becomes less useful, right? But generally speaking, the bodies judge. And on a spirit level, spirits are able to be neutral, okay? And so neutrality right now is one of the most important tools that you can be with, is the ability to be neutral, especially on a spiritual level, which means the upper chakras. The upper chakras are more of your spiritual chakras, and just being more neutral, which means being able to have the dichotomy, being able to have both sides, being able to, be okay with, the way things used to be and the way things are changing, and be okay with all the people who are kind of playing in that whole realm, and to be okay with that within yourselves. We did a Facebook Live meditation on that about immunity and I'm unity, and just being okay with all of that, okay? And so on a spiritual level, you don't have to judge, you can be neutral, but recognize that the physical bodies are always going to be in judgment. And so there's always going to be those levels of racism, or judging people for how they look, or how they appear, or how they talk, or how they present, or, oh my God, their hair looks funny, or wow, whatever. And we also internalize that on ourselves too. Look at those wrinkles. Oh my goodness, I have an extra gray hair. Look at this extra roll, or I'm too thin, or I can see too many bones, whatever. There's all those judgments in there too. And to heal that, it really has to do with clearing all the judgments out of the other chakras and just having the appropriate judgment in the third chakra. Can I cross that road without getting hit by a car? Okay. All right, we have a few more questions that have come in. So we have a question about how the virus and the political shifts are affecting our ability to support the planet in climate change. So healing the Earth's etheric plane, the Earth's etheric body, that is exactly what we just did to support all those changes. Okay, so if for Hallie, if you want to support the Earth, because that is a big thing right now. Part of the pollution and climate change and all that. That's all a part of this big change that we're going through. Okay, so that has to do, or if you want to support that, Hallie, continue to do work on your etheric bodies, the mental, the emotional body especially, and all of that old consciousness that's stuck in Mama Earth's etheric body. With regards to the near future and how our collective mock-up is looking, is I do see that, to be very honest, things are going to get a little bit worse before they get better. I definitely see a lot of clashes happening right around election time, and things could get pretty intense. But I do see that once we move past that, there's going to be a lot more innovations, some new technologies, to support the environment, to support the climate, and to support us as human beings. But things are not going to be the same. It's going to be very different, and there's going to be these technologies and ways that things are kind of different. And there's just like everything, just like every era, there's going to be some positives and there's going to be some negatives to it. Jackie, I'm not sure I understand your question. Would you maybe retype it? Would you go ahead and retype that, please? So the opposite of, Phoenix is asking a question, what's the opposite of hate? And so when you look at that vibration of hate, what you want to do is you want to look at, so that's the surface layer. Hate is the expression of what's underneath. Okay, so if you move that vibration of hate to the side, what's underneath that is actually fear. Okay, so hate is actually driven by fear, right? And if you will, that's really the question that you're asking about there, is that we're looking at the vibration of fear, right? And what is the opposite of fear, right? The opposite of fear is awareness, is consciousness. Okay, most people are afraid because they don't see, they have their blinders on. Their third eyes aren't clear enough, or they don't have their clear seeing, their clairvoyance to be able to see, to have that awareness. We have a question about deja vu. That's a super fun question. Deja vu is where you experience something on the astral plane, and then you do something over there on the astral plane. See, there is a phrase, as above, so below. And the way things work is that you always create the energy in the above spiritual space, and that is how you make things happen in the physical space. So that's why BPI is an astral school, first and foremost. We're always doing energy work first and foremost. We're going to do energy work on the planet. We're going to do energy work on ourselves. We're going to, shine the light on, where we're unconscious to racism in those classes that are coming on up. And so we always do the energy work first, as above, and then so below. Then the changes start to happen in the physical. So deja vu is where you did something on the astral plane, maybe a few nights, maybe like a long time ago on the astral plane, and then here you are in the below space, and you're going through your day, and then you go, whoa, I remember this. And that's you actually remembering what you had done on the astral plane, whether it was a few nights before, a year before, whenever. But that's you having that recognition of the as above, so below space. Aaliyah is asking if dismantling racism or abolition of the police can be seen in this lifetime. I definitely see a lot of big changes. And again, when you really boil down racism, it has to do with our judgments and how we as human beings and the system is really designed to see the differences in people. And so that's probably never going to change, being able to see differences or seeing those differences in people and having those judgments. That may not change, but I do see that there's going to be lots of big changes with regards to the systemic racism, where we as a society are going to be opening up our thoughts and our minds and opening up our abilities to start to become more conscious of it. So it's like, oh, that was a racist thought, instead of like, oh, bad, that was racist. So because it's so bad, I'm going to squeeze on it and judge myself and then make it so powerful that then I say something racist and I can't help it. So there's just going to be more space for that and more consciousness around that in our lifetime. And I really do see, Aaliyah, the expensive sounding corny, right? The children are our future. The new vibration of kids that I see coming in, they've got a whole different setup in their bodies. They're, they're not using, the carbon in their bodies. It's not as heavy. It's not as weighted down in their bodies. And so these changes are, coming with each generation. Just like you look at a lot of the protesters right now, they're the younger, they're younger than me. I'm not that old, but they're the younger people who are, getting out there and making those changes. And so it's going to happen through evolution, but it is definitely happening there. Yes, Earth does run both feminine and masculine vibrations. And Jackie's asking about some of the different Earth beings that I've worked with in the past. And the one that comes to mind, if you're wanting like a very specific one, is Pele. That is one that I have actually channeled a bunch of times. And she is definitely a vibration that is all about destroying and destruction and clearing the path for new, right? So, the volcano burns things up and clears away the dead plants, but the volcano, the soil that comes from the volcano is like some of the most richest nutrient-dense soil, right? And so Pele is one of those earth beings that I've worked with, who's taught me a lot about destruction, and it's okay to be angry, and it's okay to burn that up, and that what's right underneath that or right behind that is some very rich information where growth can come out of that. So that's one that that's coming to mind right now, because it looks like you're wanting some very specific examples. All right, it looks like that is all of our questions for today. So I really, really appreciate you guys getting together and helping us all do some energy work here on the planet to shift the vibration. It takes everybody playing their part, and we're all doing the best we can in whatever ways our strengths are, so that we can create these shifts. So for us, for those who are here today, I believe that it's the consciousness work, the energy work, vibration. For those of you guys who are out there protesting, I commend you. Please continue. I have been, feeding that as much as possible with regards to giving the protesters strength, giving them the courage, giving them the fortitude to keep going out there day in and day out, because that is really what's going to change those minds and hearts of the politicians. And so, yeah, we're going to be doing more work next month via Facebook Live. And yeah, so I am going to wrap it up for today. So thank you guys all for being here. I appreciate you. Yeah, please take care. Please keep meditating, and definitely use lots of amusement. Lots and lots of amusement. Keep smiling. It's all gonna be okay. Remember, Mother Earth is super strong. She's gonna figure out a way to survive, and we will too. All right. Thank you guys. Please take care.